Now the final category of kashrut is insects. So you might think, well, who would want to eat an insect? But the answer is, people do. Right? You get the Eat a Bug cookbook, right, with recipes for fried tarantula. So if you go to Bangkok in Thailand, in the market, you'll see all kinds of grub being sold. And I'm referring to grub quite literally. And that's where you'll find your bottles of scorpion whiskey and such like. But of course, most insects are not kosher. However, the Torah says that certain insects are kosher, specifically certain types of locusts. Now, there is a lot of confusion about this. First thing to realize is the terms locust and grasshopper. Every locust is a grasshopper, but not every grasshopper is a locust. There's many, many hundreds of different types of grasshoppers, but of these many hundreds of species, there's just a handful that under certain environmental conditions metamorphose into a different phase in which their development is highly accelerated, in which they fly around, or they become very destructive, and those are the types of grasshoppers that are known as locusts. Right? Now, and the Torah gives us the signs, and the Gemara discusses the signs via which to identify the kosher types of locust. And fortunately, this tradition has been preserved amongst Jews from North Africa and also Jews from Yemen. And there's two types of locust for which the Masorah has been preserved. One is the migratory locust, which some have preserved a Masorah for, but the one for which there is by far the most widespread tradition is the desert locust, Schistocercia gregaria. And we raise them at large numbers here at the Biblical Museum of Natural History. Let's pull one out here. All right, so here we have a desert locust. Oops. All right. Let's, luckily, we've got plenty more. Oh, not that one's a bit mangled. There we go. Here we have another desert locust. Right, so let's take a look at it. Do I need to get closer to the camera? Closer? That's good. That's good. All right. So what are the characteristics of a locust? Well, firstly, you'll notice it has 4 walking legs, which are actually quite sticky. It's clinging onto my skin with them. And then it has 2 jumping legs. Oh, this one actually only has one of its jumping legs broken. It's a defective locust. Let me get another one. All right, take 3. Right, here we have a non-defective locust. There you see his kausulin, right, his jumping legs at the back of his body. And then he also has wings which cover his entire body. Right, so very fiddly, these locusts. There we go. See his wings, which when he flies, he spreads out the wings, and they're actually quite big. So when he's not flying, the wings are folded against his body, and they cover up his entire body. See that? So that is the characteristic of a kosher locust. And again, like with fish, when the Gemara discusses about how even if the fish does not have scales now, but if it's going to get the scales later in life, that's sufficient. So the Gemara points out that the same is true with locusts. That even if the locust does not have wings now, but if it's going to get them later, that's sufficient. And what the Gemara there is referring to is how, as locusts grow, they metamorphose through various stages. One second, let me get some more growing colony. Oh, see here? Right, see, locusts, as they grow, they metamorphose through 7 different phases. Right, and they're very small, they don't have wings at all. As they grow, they develop more wings. Can you see the little tiny budding wings there? A little further away. Okay, the little tiny budding wings. And then it's only when in their final metamorphosis that the wings get to be the really huge wings that cover their entire body. Now the question is, can we eat locusts today? What if you're not part of one of those North African or Yemenite communities that have a Masorah for eating locusts? So many halakhic authorities argue that it's fine. Why? Because it's not as though there's a negative tradition against eating locusts in Ashkenaz. The problem is there just weren't any locusts in Ashkenaz. And it's not like with kitnios, say, when there was an Ashkenazi custom not to eat kitnios. Right? With locusts, there weren't any. There were no locusts. Locusts only live in tropical environments. Right? In Ashkenaz, you might have grasshoppers, but you do not have any locusts. So it's not a negative tradition against eating locusts. There just weren't any locusts around. And that's why many, even Ashkenazi halakhic authorities rule that you're allowed to accept the Masorah from those who do have a tradition to eat locusts. However, do not expect to see them widely available. Certainly, the desert locust is certainly not available in the United States. It's considered to be a dangerous species to import because of its potential, threat value. Even in Israel right now, currently there's nobody marketing kosher locusts, although we're looking into the possibility of doing so from the museum at some point. Why are locusts kosher? So the Torah doesn't give a reason, but simply speaking, we can say if there's a plague of locusts, they wipe out all your crops, at least there's something left to eat. Right, 1915, there was a devastating plague of locusts in Eretz Yisrael. People starved to death, but not the people who caught and ate the locusts. And at our various exotic banquets that we do for supporters of the Biblical Museum of Natural History, so after we've served, the goats and the deer and the pheasant and the quail and the guinea fowl and the sparrows and the piranhas and the swordfish and the buffalo, for dessert we serve chocolate-covered locusts, crunchy on the outside and a chewy center. Well, my wife does not like them. She is locust intolerant. Now, the Gemara towards the end of the Perek also mentions some other insects that the Torah highlights as being not kosher. All right, the Torah speaks about marabah eglaim, which the Gemara says refers to a nadal, and that would be centipedes and millipedes. So here we have a centipede, and here we have a millipede. Now, despite their names, it's not the case that centipedes have 100 legs and millipedes have 1,000,000 legs. Right? Centipedes usually have about 20 legs, and centipedes are actually quite dangerous in this part of the world. They have a very nasty sting. Millipedes will have, say, around about 100 or 200 pairs of legs. The millipedes are quite harmless, although some species do exude a rather nasty slime, but this one, scarlet millipede, does not. Really quite a cute animal, I believe. See that? Okay, pop him back in his cage. And then the Gemara also says that Kol Holech Al Arba serves to include another creature, which we have here. Let me take him out. Oh, he's in a bit of a mood today. But hopefully I can take him out without getting hurt. Hold on. Come on. Sorry, just get a bit nervous about handling this guy. That is the scorpion. Here we have a scorpion. Now, kids, don't try this at home. Certainly, you would never want to pick up a scorpion that you find in Israel, because some of them can be dangerous, even lethal. This happens to be a relatively harmless species of scorpion from Africa, called an emperor scorpion. And the Gemara says, Kol Holech Al Arba serves to include the scorpion. Why? I do not know. Scorpions have 8 legs, not 4 legs. So it's not clear to me why the Gemara interprets the pasuk that way. Perhaps Holech Al Arba is some kind of figure of speech, meaning something with multiple legs. It's not clear to me the basis of that diuk. And there we have a scorpion. And then, let's put him back without getting stung. Can't get him off my hand. Get off. Alright, pick him off later. Meanwhile, I'll just mention how the Perek ends with a reference to the Leviathan being a kosher fish. Now, Leviathan is in fact machlokas Rishonim as to what the Leviathan there refers to. There are some Rishonim who interpret it literally, Leviathan being a gigantic pickled fish stored away for the righteous. And there's others, such as Rambam, who interpret it metaphorically as referring to a concept. And that was really one of the topics of the Maimonidean controversies. If you'd like to learn more about all these topics, so check out our webpage, www.biblicalnaturalhistory.org/Daf Yomi, where we've put up a bunch of links to various free resources which go into more depth concerning many of these topics, the camel, the hare, and the hyrax, the swordfish, the kashrut of locusts, and so on. They're explained in much greater detail in various articles that we have posted at our website. We also have various books available at our website, the Torah Encyclopedia of the Animal Kingdom, and other books which also further discuss these topics. And we hope that you'll come and visit us at the museum in person. We have many, many more exhibits than the ones we've shown you today. And later on this year, we're moving to a magnificent new building, 5 times the size of this one. So I hope you'll all come and enjoy your visit at the Biblical Museum of Natural History. Thank you. Bloody thing off my finger. Get off.